probably the first extension of their arms to almost a nuclear age, because we have weapons in the inside, some of the firearms that were used in Vietnam and in later wars. So we try to cover the whole spectrum. We've researched all of it. We make most of the weapons, not all of them. We make most. How big these things should be, how much they should weigh. We do purchase some weapons where we're trying to get something closer to museum quality. There are blades of types that were used in India, up on Khyber Pass, throughout the Indian frontiers. They were all used by Celts, Scottish warriors mostly, but a lot of Irishmen involved. If you look at the American fur trade in this country, the three biggest races out here were Irish, Scots, and French. They settled the West in the United States. Basically, they settled the world. Nobody's ever been able to conquer the world, except the Celts. What you have to remember is that weapons in Scotland and Ireland, these weapons were used by the average warrior folk, small folk, farmer people, and they'd take axes and they'd take shovels and hoes and whatever they had and take them to the blacksmith, and the blacksmith would work them over and come up with some of these really odd shapes, and they'd go to war with them. But it was the same thing that they'd been used in the field, so they knew how to use it. They were comfortable with it. When the war was over, if the guy survived, had two hands and could still work, they'd go back to his blacksmith. The guy would make it back into a farm implement of some sort, and he'd go back to work with it. Each of these weapons, to say that one is more interesting or one is a better weapon, you can't do it. It's a personal thing, whatever a man picked up and was used to and comfortable with. As an example, you look at the kite-shaped shields we have, none of those would have been used by the Celts. The Celts used the little round targets. The coat of arms, everything you see, like the ones behind me on the tent, those are all given to us by the English. These weapons, none of them are designed to be pretty. They're not designed to be neat. They're designed to hack and slash and break bones. But the Celt would go to battle heavily armed, this way. They didn't use these swords for thrusting. They were hack and slash, and it was an overhand motion and a sideways motion. These were defensive as well as offensive. This point will catch a sword point or a sword blade. You throw it this way, and you open the guy up, and here he stands, right here. And he can't do anything. He's got his sword arm being pushed away this way, and you're right here with him. Of course, he's doing the same thing to you. So you want to be firstest with the mostest. You push, hack, when you get to a point, you come back with a slash.
Do they do stuff to work on their skills, or is it?
Oh, I'm sure they did.
Oh.
I'm sure they did. The other thing that works when you get real close, that makes a fine club. If I can't do anything else, I can smash you in the mouth with that. It takes a lot of your fight out of you. The average Scotsman, even though that was something that drove the English nuts, the average Scotsman could not afford to have fancy weaponry, but every one of them went around armed. They all had swords, they all had dirks, they all wore captor. You'd bow, you'd come up with one more shot. Take the highest guy you can get, because you're going to die anyway. You don't care. Nobody's going to ransom you.